Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome back to another episode of the Day After Show where we talk about everything that happened against Crystal Palace yesterday in our 3-1 win in the Premier League. Big up to everyone. We are slightly late. I do apologise. A little bit disorganised, but still making it happen regardless. Always turning up. Big up to Scott. Big up to Kev as well. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Scott, I'll tell you what, mate. The past couple of weeks, it's been tough to reach you. I think you were on another show and then you were out for, I think it was a dinner or something. But you've been a busy man recently.
Yeah, no, it's just things like, it's just like you said, things are happening at the same time. Like I was on another show about a week ago or so after the Brentford game. And then the other night I was out with my family. It's just been one of those things. But yeah, finally back on after a week or so, or whatever it is, a couple of weeks.
Hey, I've missed you, Scott. I've missed you. I'm trying to think do you know actually what I noticed on the last show? And I honestly don't mean this in a negative way to anyone, but you know one thing about you, Scott. I think Kev will agree with me on this. Someone will say something, and then everyone will go, yeah, and you'll be like, "The fuck are you talking about?" I've missed that. You know, someone coming and be like, "Nah, I'm not having that."
First time I've seen Scott smile in my whole life.
Oh, I love it. What have you been up to, Kev? You've been coaching. You said you did bloody 23 hours this weekend.
5 hours Friday, 11 hours Saturday.
Oh, well, you counted Friday. That doesn't count.
Fucking past this weekend, isn't it? Still, but
what's Friday? Not the weekend. I thought you meant Saturday, Sunday. I don't. I thought that was
my
really
weekend starts on Friday. Past Friday's a weekend. Yeah, so not technically, but yeah. So quite a lot. Yeah, that's it, mate. That's all I've been doing.
You've just been coaching away. I would have loved to have said I've been working because I obviously do coaching myself, but everything's rained off. Like literally, I was having a chat the other day, and one of the other coaches who's been coaching a lot longer than me was like, "This is the worst I've seen it in 10 years." Like honestly, I probably missed like 9 days work.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. I mean, obviously, I work most days, so like, if you're working during the week and then a Saturday or Sunday and you're not working, you're not bothered. But I'm working all of them. So, hey, let's get into it. Let's dive straight into this one, guys. Did we feel confident going into Palace just off the back?
I don't know, and I think that's more because up until this game, like even though we were 3 wins in 4, like obviously we had the Arsenal loss and like we kind of came back into it, but I wouldn't exactly say that was an amazing performance. I thought Brentford, we were second best for most of that game, and like I think Sanchez was saving us, and I don't know how Brentford didn't score. And obviously you have Charlton. It's like I think even though Palace were 7 losses in 10 or winless in 10 or whatever it was, now winless in 11.
It was winless in 7.
I think it was more than that.
They were 7 without a win, and we were 2 wins in 10 in the Prem.
Fair enough. Yeah, like it was one of those where like, I didn't know how to feel, because it's also one of those games with Palace away where like we just don't have the best record against Palace recently, and like it could be one of those where certain guys don't turn up or whatever, right? And maybe they catch us on the break, which they did once, but it was a poor finish from Mateta, good save from Sanchez. But yeah, I think before this game, it was hard to judge where we were at, you know, like how this team's going to perform against these guys. And so, yeah, like I think seeing the performance we did was good, because it then gives you some confidence going like, okay, West Ham, feel pretty confident going to that game. Wolves, same. Even Leeds, same. So like it gives us a level of like where to judge this team under Rosenior against these kind of teams, which we hadn't seen yet.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Kev?
We spoke before the game, and I said we'd smash them. To be fair, you're looking at a team that has been dismantled of all their best talents. He as a Mateta wanting out, the manager leaving, just not the same team.
It was a good time to play Palace.
Yeah. You can see that it's a shame, really, you know, because I wouldn't say it's a shame, they're rivals to us, but it's a massive downfall from them winning the first FA Cup and the buzz around the club, and for them to drop that quickly and now being in probably a relegation battle. They're only 8 points off the bottom now. So, they're probably in a relegation battle, losing against a semi-pro team. Downfall's massive for them. But, yeah, definitely the right time to have played them. I wasn't scared or worried about going into the game, and I thought we'd definitely get the 3 points. We had to get the 3 points for the team to prove to us fans that they're going the right way. And I'm under no illusions. I'm not getting carried away. Good performance, good individual performance, as well as look pretty solid at the back. We kept up Mateta pretty well, but when you're beating Paphos one day, beating Palace the next day, it's not massive news. These are the teams that we should be wiping the floor with the team that we've got. So I'm just looking forward to what we're going to be like against an Arsenal next week. A bigger test, and then we can see where we're at then. But Palace, I fully expected us to have won that game.
I'll be honest. I had a quiet confidence going into the game, but I was like, I'm not looking at Palace in the same way as, let's say,
West Ham, for example.
Well, yeah, that's one side of the spectrum. Well,
yeah.
When you say West Ham, do you mean West Ham in like a good way or a bad way?
Yeah, in a good way in terms of like.
Okay. Yeah.
So, for example, going into West Ham, even before this game, I knew we'd beat them. Like, I know we beat them at home. I'm positive we beat them. So
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. They're like the halfway point. It's like I'm more confident that I'd beat West Ham, but I'm trying to think of like a bogey team on top of my head. Like if I'm looking at
Brentford's like one of them teams.
Brentford or a Fulham, sort of slightly in the middle of those two as well. Because like we've struggled against Palace, but we still managed to always beat them a lot of the time, especially away from home. Like I've had some bangers away at Selhurst. I was there when Ziyech scored the winner, when Gallagher scored. I've seen some great ones. We always seem to find a way, but I think Glasner's a very respectable manager, and like say what you want about Mateta wanting to leave, like he gave it a good crack and Trev locked him up. He locked him up. That battle wasn't even a battle really. It was very one sided. I mean, maybe that's where we should start, guys. Let's start with the defense. What was it, Chalobah, and then we had Badiashile next to him, and people were saying like, right, we'll see how this goes. We know that we're obviously resting Fofana. Potentially he could start against Napoli. That makes sense. I'm okay with that. If that's what you have to do to justify him getting the start. And then obviously Cucurella on the left and Reece on the right. But let's start in those centre-back roles. I mean, there's never been any doubt really for Chalobah. Even no matter whether he's making mistakes or not, I know that if everybody in the team is to a certain level, he can match that level. Chalobah is very much like a chameleon in that sense, in my opinion. He blends in with his environment. You know, if you're playing Chalobah with Thiago Silva, he will not be an idiot. But if you play Chalobah with a bum, there's a good chance, like we saw, I think it was it Leeds when it was Chalobah and Tosin, right?
Sure.
Is that the game?
Yeah, Tosin,
like, basically any game where Chalobah is playing next to Tosin.
If he's not got a competent partner, then it's not going to work. But this is a guy that, to this day, I feel like is one of the most undervalued centre-backs in the Prem. You know, any team would be happy to have Chalobah in their side. I'm not saying he starts, but I know United take him. I know Liverpool take him. Maybe not City. I'd say Arsenal probably take him as well.
Arsenal?
In the capacity of a squad player, absolutely.
I don't think
as a squad player, 100%.
No. I think Mosquera and Capio are better than him, personally.
Hard to say, but Chalobah's proven that he can compete at the top level regardless. If we're in a cup final and and let's just say Chalobah's in the squad and he's not a starter and he has to fill in for someone else, I feel confident that he will be able to perform in a one-off game. I feel very confident about that. And for me, that is enough to justify the fact that you're a squad player, because you're not supposed to start every week if you're a squad player. You just need to turn up when you're needed. And I thought he was great. I thought Mateta didn't stand a chance. He was, Chalobah, we were man marking. I saw Jamie Carragher speaking about this whole man marking thing. He was using a clip from the Arsenal game where Fofana was basically coming out right into their half, and I was like, oh yeah, did you know what, that is different. But at least one thing we can say is it keeps it simple, because we can't act like we were keeping loads of clean sheets under Maresca anyway. Although we can all agree, regardless, that we need a centre back. But yeah, very impressed with Chalobah. I thought his passing was good as well. Lots of good through balls into the midfield. I think he was actually, was it the Esteval assist for Joao Pedro? I think that play was actually started off from a Chalobah pass, if I'm not wrong, when he won the ball back off Mateta or something like that. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. But yeah, what's your take on it, Scott?
Yeah, I thought he was good, and I think what was surprising about the Chalobah performance on the weekend wasn't necessarily his performance in general. It was more like aerially. Like, we know that Chalobah's like one of his weakest elements. Like, you could argue it's either his heading or his ball playing, as two weakest elements as a footballer. But against Mateta, who we know is a threat both physically and aerially, he handled him really well. I think on the man marking element to it, I think it very much varies on who you are playing against. Like, if you're playing against a team that plays a false nine, the players who are that's going to drop deep, I don't think it works, because you're inevitably going to get dragged out as a centre back. When you're playing a big physical guy like a Mateta, like a Haaland, even though it's a lot harder, like a Gyökeres, it's a bit easier, because then you don't give them time and space on the ball to get on the ball, get into space, get shots off, get comfortable, which I think we did really well with Mateta. He looked incredibly uncomfortable in the game on Sunday. And yeah, I think most of that came down to Chalobah. I think he was definitely, of the two centre-backs, the much better of the two. Excuse me. And I think, he handled himself well, which was good to see. I think, just very quickly on his partner, I think he was pretty average, to be honest. Nearly, it's like half his fault, but nearly gave up that chance. Well, he did give up that chance to Mateta, which Sanchez makes a good save. Outside of that, it's just very much kind of, I don't really know how to explain it without being a bit insensitive, maybe, or just making a joke out of it. But he just has too many mistakes in him in terms of lapses of concentration to make it at this level. He's gonna do bits in Serie A. He'll do well in
make it at this level. He's already made it at this level, Scott.
No, it's in at the top level. He should not be playing for a top 4 team in the Premier League. He really should. He shouldn't, bro. He's not.
The guy literally, he was in a consistent squad.
No, not Chalobah. I'm talking about his counterpart. I'm not talking about Chalobah. Sorry. No, Chalobah is. Chalobah's a top 4 centre back, no doubt. I think that is his level. I think that's where his level ends. He is a top 4 centre back and no more. I'm talking about the guy next to him. Yeah, Badiashile for me is not a top 4 centre back. Should not be here past the summer. I think there's just too many lapses in concentration. His passing was decent, but there was also moments where he's just messing the pass up, overhitting it. His touches are weird. He doesn't look like he always knows where he is. But yeah, I think he's kind of a lost cause at this point. But yeah, Chalobah I thought was very good, and hopefully he pushes on. Obviously, I want him to do well. But yeah, hopefully he can just continue that from now to the end of the season.
To be fair, I agree with you on the Serie A point. I could see him playing in Italy, Badiashile.
Yeah, he probably does well there because he gets more time on the ball. He actually has the chance to pick passes and stuff. That's probably best for him.
What do you think, Kev? I mean, Chalobah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a player that we've had for years. Yeah. And I think that nobody's ever really hated the guy. I mean, we've had moments where we thought, we can do better than this, but ultimately you kind of know what you're going to get from him. But having Badiashile on the left, you've got a left-sided player, which is always nice to have. I mean, you don't get that with Fofana, you don't get that with Tosin, you don't get that with Josh. But even as a left-sided player, he still has a lot of vulnerabilities.
Well, Badiashile freaking made that mistake within the first 5 minutes, doing it straight away when he literally passed it straight into the midfielder. I think it was Pino. Pino put the ball in to Mateta, and obviously Sanchez saved us. So already within the first 5 minutes, you're putting your team under pressure. The senseless defensive work again, and we've seen it continuously from the man. It's not the first time We've seen him give the ball away cheaply and put us under pressure. And I think Scott hits the nail on the head. I think if he plays in the league, which is a bit more slower, it will suit him. In the Italian league, especially, they don't really come out and press you as much as the teams in England. So far off it. When I seen his name come up on the team sheet, I was well surprised that he was starting. I think right now, I don't believe it's Rosenior even making decisions on him. I think we're just trying to increase his value to get him gone for the summer.
Well, I think that so hang on. So when you say he's not making, do you think that he's choosing Badiashile ahead of Tosin and let's just say Josh? And you're saying that's because of transfer value? Because you could make the same argument for them as well.
I don't think it is.
No, I think we're Tosin. You sell him for £15 million, you've made profit on him straight away, haven't you? Of course, we got him for free. With Badiashile, we signed him for £46 million.
Not quite. It was about 30 odd. 30.
About 30, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Disassi
was the more expensive one.
Yeah, we paid 70 for him.
How much?
Paid 70 total for him and Disassi. Disassi was 40, he was 30.
So they've got to find, and this is why you're seeing now Disassi training with the first team and getting back in. But go back to the game. Defensively, Chalobah kept Matata well. To be honest, Palace didn't really cause us any problems. I think with Palace now, they do to cross the ball quite a lot. I think James Cucurella down the flanks kept their wings out pretty much. Didn't really give them any opportunities to get the ball in to the danger man. And when it did come in, I think Sanchez and Chalobah and the Badiashile dealt with it pretty well. But my only concern is going back to Badiashile. Concentration levels. When you're 5 minutes into a game, why would you give the team such a clear-cut opportunity? Imagine now if Palace would have scored that goal. Could be looking at the game now, couldn't we?
I'm thinking back to that moment as well, that chance. Not to like make excuses or anything, but Neto didn't give him the best pass in the world. Like, it was a slightly misplaced and mishit pass. But I guess the argument is that he still took too many touches. Like, he took one touch, he took two touch, and then he tried to pass it. Like, if you really feel like you're under pressure,
what's wrong with him?
It's a lot easier said than done. But you could have maybe just chipped the ball up, or I don't know,
it's into the channel. No, the guys like this, hey, he just plays it in, just hits it into the channel. Like, I don't. And this is the thing, though.
I will say just very quickly, since I do blame like 70% of that chance on Neto. Like the pass that Neto gives to Badiashile is genuinely ludicrous. Like, you play it.
Well, Scott, it's not terrible, but it's not like ideal.
It's a terrible. The pass. How do I word this? The pass idea isn't terrible to play it back to Badiashile. The execution and what you do afterwards is poor. Number one is you run away from him the moment you pass the ball. Like, if he's trying to then connect with you, or if he's trying to get rid of that football, you're the only option he has because of how he's being pressed. Why are you running away from him? The second thing is you give a left-footed player the ball on his right foot, where he either has to clear it first time, like Trev said, on his weaker foot, where he's going to slice that, it's going to go anywhere, or he has to take the perfect touch to touch it back inside, away from, I think it was Mateta, who was the second dude pressing him, to then play it with his left foot. So I'm saying Badiashile's first touch is bad because he just kind of touches it. Like, he stops the ball dead, which is not what he wants to do in that situation because it's just on his right foot, so he has to come back inside. But the pass Neto gives to him is just like, he can't do anything with that. Like, he kills him immediately because he gets pressed immediately. And yeah, so like Neto for me, but I blame at least 70% of that chance on Neto.
Neto did throw him under a bus in a certain context, but Badiashile needs to do better, man. Like, okay, it's a bad ball, but you've got more than enough time to eradicate the danger and just clear it into Roll's head or hit it in the channel. He then decides to take a touch. Pressure comes on, he plays in. So it's a bit of both, but I feel like Badiashile needs to do better with decision making. That's one thing that's let him down throughout his career at Chelsea, is the constant giving the ball away and putting us under pressure. And it was the same.
It was needless, wasn't it? It didn't need to happen. Like, there's one thing making a mistake, and there's another thing sort of making a mistake when it's quite avoidable. I can see other defenders not having that same issue. I'm with you on that. Hey, what do we think about Neto as well? Because I thought, I'll be honest with you, I thought he was poor, especially looking at what Esteval was doing on the right. The context of the game was really strange because I wasn't actually that impressed with Esteval, especially in the first half, up until the goal, really, because he wasn't involved in the game and everything was going on the left-hand side. It was always Cucurella trying to ping a ball to Neto to run onto. Santos was very involved with the build-up play. We'll get onto him a little bit later. And it just felt so strange watching Neto on that left-hand side because, I mean, the one thing I will say is I thought, keep it simple. And it's strange because he did, and it still didn't really work. There was moments where he tried to just use his pace, didn't work. Just knock it past, whip a ball in. It's like, look really flat. You look really one-dimensional, like a one-trick pony. I've seen Neto play a number of times, but actually, I suppose the fact that I didn't even go to the game, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I didn't go because I messed up my timings, basically. I thought it was going to take me just over an hour to get to Palace. It was like 2.5 hours. So I was going to miss the first half. I thought, screw it, I'll just watch it at home. And it was just interesting watching from that view because when you're in the ground, you don't really see it the same way. Like, it's much harder to break down a game. But I was really, really disappointed with Neto. And like, his effort is top notch. Never ever gonna deny the effort he puts in. But in terms of quality on the ball,
output.
It was
output. Yesterday again, he's not direct enough. And when he's seen Estavio's goal, why can't all the wing? Why we've got the players to with all the flair and the ability to do what Estavio done, but we're not seeing it constant enough. And we think with Neto, how many opportunities yesterday does he get the ball down the line, put back and pass it back, or he looks up to cross the ball, or he'll pass it back, and it's so frustrating. And we've said, I don't know about you, but I've said this for the last few games about Neto. It hasn't just been like yesterday. It's been on a very good occurrence now that his performances are going further and further backwards. Is it the system what's not suiting him? Is it the players in the box not making the right runs for him to cross the ball, or is it simply just decision making? I think it's a bit of all three. But I honestly think the system doesn't suit him. I thought he's more suited to a counter-attacking system where he can use his pace.
This is the crazy thing, though, Kev. This is the crazy thing. I feel like we did counter. Like, let's look at the Esteval goal. I mean, Esteval's actually a player that people have come out and said he's not that pacey. Like, pace isn't one of the strengths you think of with Steve. It's his dribbling. It's how good he is on the ball when he has it. Like, he doesn't need the pace because he's so good with his feet. I'd say he's quite composed on the ball. And one thing that really impressed me is the power on his shots. But I'm just looking at that goal. He's through. I think it was Mitchell that was with him.
Yeah, Mitchell.
And
yeah.
Mitchell's sort of there, but like not
Mitchell's no slouch as well, though.
No, but this is the thing. Like, Esteval was so composed. He was like slightly moving away, but knows exactly what he's going to do. Kept it simple. And I just think if that was Neto in that position, how does that play? Like, how does that turn out? What happens there? Because maybe he does score. Like, I don't know, but I just don't see that composure with Neto, and I don't think Neto would have scored that goal either. I really don't. Maybe he would have had a shot off, but
nah. I could have said Neto probably stopping in the box and trying to look for a pass. He's not direct enough. He honestly is not. That's what you want from winger. Esteval's goal yesterday reminded me of Willian's goal against Man City a few years ago when he was just clean on goal and just hit it. The wingers are too focused on. They're not selfish enough. They need to go more for the goal. And I think if that was Pedro in that position there, I don't feel like he would have hit it. I honestly don't. So fair play for Steve. But going back to Neto, it's just He just needs to be more direct, more clinical. Quick question as well. Do you think sometimes when he wants to cross the ball, when obviously it takes his time to look up and he'll probably pass it back, do you think that's more to do with the caliber of striker got in the box, or do you think it's because he doesn't believe in the quality of his end product?
I'll let you answer that, Scott.
Kind of tired of talking about Neto at this point. I think he's just.
Let's not act like he's been rubbish that for a long time.
Oh, he has. He's been rubbish.
It's only recently we've dropped
it's most of the season. He just masks it with goals and assists against teams that are called to do that against Wolves and Burnley, and that. This is him, almost his entire Chelsea career. Just inconsistent. The IQ is abysmally low from a footballing level. And yeah, I'm just tired of talking about him because it's just the same conversations every week. He plays on the left, it's the same. He plays on the right, it's the same. He just doesn't cut inside when he's on the left.
When he was on the left, I mean, would you not say it was worse?
No, because outside the fact he didn't cut inside every 5 minutes, which he does on the right, it's exactly the same. He just wants to put his foot on the ball. He wants to kick and run past players when he can't beat them for pace. He wants to hit crosses into no one. He wants to give hospital passes into the back line for no reason. He doesn't even do the work rate thing anymore because we're conceding goals from the right back that he's meant to be defending, overlapping Cucurella and getting crosses into the box. So he doesn't even do the work rate thing. Yeah, he's just a negative on this squad, and I'm looking for. I just count down the days until he's sold. Our left wingers are all kind of crap, so I don't care who plays.
That dude, you get rid of him now. That's all.
I'd get rid of him this window if there was an opportunity to, and you could get in someone better.
No.
If we could have got in Semenyo and got rid of Neto, I'd have taken that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
there's a way we could get in Leao and get rid of Neto, I'm taking that in a heartbeat. But we won't, and we don't have the opportunity. But yeah, I'm tired of watching him play football because Kev, you go back to the chance. None of our wingers score the Esteval goal, and I tell you why. Because Gittins puts his foot on the ball and stops it dead. Garnacho gets caught up by the centre back, by Mitchell. And Neto runs it into the corner flag. That's what happens if any of those are on the ball because their IQ is so minimal in terms of footballing IQ. And it's the reason why we have conversations about these guys and the wingers is why Esteval is different. It's because he understands, in that position as well, the reason why he gets away from Mitchell is he's not running straight at goal, allowing Mitchell to kind of come round him. He's running at an angle, but not so much of an angle it takes him away from goal like Neto would do. Neto would go that way. Garnacho would go that way and let Mitchell catch up to him and Gittins would stop. Esteval goes in the middle, so he gives himself enough of a space to keep Mitchell off, but keeps the ball and keeps the chance alive for him to then get the shot away, which he scores. He's the only winger in our. He's the only winger that does that. He's 18.
It's basic football IQ and
exactly
brilliant. And Esteval's running, so Mitchell's running there, and Esteval's running there. So what happens now when Esteval? The only thing Mitchell could do now is go that way, because if he goes that way, what happens then is last man, he clips him, goes there, and last man, red card.
Exactly, but
yeah, what I mean. I honestly don't think that the caliber wingers we've got have got the IQ. And when you look at Semedo, his performance against Wolves, okay, he's only playing against Wolves. But how direct Doku and Semedo are, and how relentless they are, keep on going, getting opportunities away, getting crosses in. And when you look at our wingers, the output stinks.
And
for the amount of money that we spent, output's not there, the end product's not there, the IQ's not there. Only winger I can say right now that's putting in a shift and that deservingly gets credit from the fan base is Esteval, because he gets at him. He gets at him. He'll dribble, like Alex said. He's probably not the quickest, but he's got quick feet. He can wriggle his way in. He gets across his man. But I'm not seeing it enough from our wingers, bro. And we've got Garnacho 60 million, Neto 65 million, Gittins 65 million.
Garnacho is 40.
Talking about 200. Yeah. Okay. So probably talking about nearly 200 million pounds off of wingers here, and only one of them you can say that are half decent. So
it's about profiles, isn't it? It's about profiles.
But none of the profiles we have outside of Gittins' profile is good, but his quality is not. the other two profile-wise, Garnacho and Neto don't suit this team at all.
Unless you're going to play in a way. Yeah, go on.
I said, unless you're going to play in a way which, when we touch on Rosenior, I'll talk about this more. What Rosenior's done is, unless you're going to play in a way where like you almost intentionally unbalance the way your team sets up or builds up play, in terms of like we saw against Palace a little bit. The right-hand side of the pitch got loads of the ball, like loads of touches, loads of time. The left-hand side of the pitch, whether that was Neto or Cucurella at times or like whoever, it was like you're not getting the ball outside of we're going down the line. We're like playing it down the line to you. We're giving you minimal touches in build-up. We're giving you minimal touches to do stuff in terms of build-up and creativity. You just get the ball on like you're like the second to last ball, right? The ball will go into you. You then just need to get the cross in or create the final action, basically. And so unless you do stuff like that where you're just kind of unbalancing, for lack of a better term, the team intentionally, these profiles do not fit in the way we're trying to build up and the way we're trying to set this team up. Any way, shape, or form.
I think that the profile is definitely an issue. I'm in agreement with. I think everyone's. I think you're saying, Scott. I know Charlie's saying it. I'm in agreement with people saying don't play Neto and Garnacho in the same team. I'm in agreement with that. I think the problem is that we know that Steve can't play every week. We know that the policy isn't going to allow him to play every week. And I don't have a problem with Garnacho. I don't have a big problem with Neto. Although I will say that I'm disappointed with the performance against Palace. I thought it was poor. But I don't forget when he was really good. I don't forget those moments either. And if we're going based on that logic, he has been our best winger this season. If we're looking at, multiple games, most GA, yes, he's had more minutes, but I can only judge what I've seen. I think that trend will change. I do think that trend will change. I think it would be borderline criminal not to start Esteval and Andre Santos against Napoli. I think it would be ridiculous. And then, if you've got Steve there, then you play Garnacho because you've got different profiles in there. Like you've got someone who can get in the position, have a lot of shots, put himself about, and eventually, hopefully, one of those chances will pay off. And you've got another guy who can make something out of nothing. And that's great. You've got a little bit of you've got something different. I also think that with Steve as well, I felt like Reece James and him, they had a real connection up there. When they had the ball, it was like they could read what the other person was doing, and it just looked very natural. It looked right.
It just looked like I was saying this months ago, Alex. When kept on saying about Maresca's inverted bollocks he was doing. Go back to the old way of your wingers coming inside. When your wingers come inside, what's your right back going to do? I just didn't get the way Escom and Renzo was thinking. Esteval will cut inside and then Reece James would be inside. So where's that width from the right-hand side? Now, Esteval's coming in. What do you see Reece James doing now? Staying out wide. And you probably got one of the best crossers in England.
In world football,
and
mate.
now start getting the balls in the box. So you've now got more output from the wing positions. And that's what you've seen yesterday. Cucurella and Reece James out wide, old school way, overlapping, getting balls in, linking up the play on the wings. And then, that gives opportunities then for your Netos and your Estavios to be in closer in the play. And it gives you more width. And it's just look good, look a lot more fluent. So I'm not too keen on hearing Rosenior as a human being, but I'm happy that he's seen sense to say,
what's wrong with him as a human? I thought you were going to say that on a football level.
I don't know. We'll get into that after. That's another part we'll talk about. But I'm happy that he's seen. Think about it. You got to see the quality you've got. Who is probably Chelsea's best crosser? Reece James. Cucurella times his runs brilliantly down the wings. He links play up. He's got the energy to get up and down. Why would you use them in central places and have your two wingers out wide when Neto can't cross the ball properly and Esteval doesn't really want to be outside, he wants to be inside. So the whole setup of what we was doing from the start on the Maresca wasn't making sense. Now Esteval can be more inside, Neto could be more inside, and then we got your wing backs out there being overlapping wing backs like the old school way. So I think the tactics that Liam Rosenior is deploying, I think it's right. What he's doing is right, and you can see it now when in build up, it's a lot more fluent. You know, there's more output. It just looks better knowing that you've got Reece James bombing that. I think in a few occasions yesterday he was getting balls in from the right. Just looks good, doesn't it, to see that Reece James is being played in his natural position.
So why don't you like Liam Rosenior as a person?
Oh my God! Here we go.
Well, you said it. I mean, I've got to ask, haven't I? I mean, you said you like the tactics, and I thought, okay. I thought if you were going to have a dig at Rosenior, it'd be with the football.
I just, you know the way he talks. I just don't. I don't.
Do you find it patronising?
I'm unconvinced. The way he talks confidently. Yeah, I think he talks very well, but I just don't like the way he talks. For someone that is new into the game as a coach, not as a player, as a coach, he kind of talks a bit like, like he's giving that aura like he's a bit bigger than what he really is. But that's just my vision on him.
I suppose you have to,
if he goes and wins the FA Cup, goes and wins the Champions League, maybe, you know what, I'll probably start liking him more of them. But until then, I'm just a bit like, I don't know yet. I don't know about him yet.
You know, Scott, when obviously I wasn't there, so there's another fan channel that did an interview with Jacob. And Jacob's still like, nah. He's like, I don't like Rosenior. I boo him. I want him out. I just want to be very clear. I'm not a fan of the appointment at all. I think it was a pathetic appointment. I think we can all agree with that. It was a complete downgrade. It's like me. I don't know how to describe. Let's just say like Sky Sports, their presenter didn't come in, and they called me. Like there's a lot more people that are more qualified for that job than me. But because I would love to work and be a presenter on Sky, obviously I'm going to take the job. Big pay rise, getting paid. You know, I'm gonna. Of course, you want me to talk about this? No problem. You know, and that's the definition of a yes man, isn't it?
You know what it sounds like?
Never going to turn down the job, but
you know what it sounds like
we can't deny that he's had a good start. We can't deny that.
Yeah, but he hasn't really had much tests.
No, but I'm not saying that he's been tested. I'm just saying that
Alex, me and you and Scott with that team right now could go to training ground. Bear in mind, I've heard he's only had 6 training sessions since he started, bro. And I think we could tactically set up Chelsea right now to be a Charlton Athletic that are in the mud in the Championship, half us who I haven't even heard of, a Crystal Palace that lost against freaking Macclesfield. You understand where I'm getting from? So when people say to me, "Oh yeah, he's had a good start," really, has he really? Because the only test he's come up with against Arsenal, we got absolutely played off the park. So, I'm not buying that. We've had a good start. When we go through a difficult period, when we're probably playing higher level opponents, that's when I'll judge him and say, you know what, yeah, he's had a good start then. But so far, come on, lads, like, you got to understand that we haven't really had much tests. The only test we've had is Arsenal in his reign right now.
No, I'm not disputing that he hasn't been really tested. But what I will say is, I mean, I'll look at the Palace game as an individual game because Paphos would have been embarrassing. Charlton would have been embarrassing. And Arsenal are the best team in the league. We're technically still in that tie. I won't read too much into it. But I do think it was a good win against a team that we should beat. But at the same time, it's not an easy one to beat. And if you're asking me about the setup, if you're asking me about the players he's given an opportunity to, if you're asking me about the roles of certain players, I think that it's been, I felt quite refreshed watching that Palace performance. I felt good about Esteval. I felt as good as I ever have about Joao Pedro. We'll speak about him. I was happy seeing James as a regular right back. Yeah. And I was glad to see that because obviously Santos was in the middle, who was also given an opportunity. So, that there's obviously aspects of it where, because some people say it's still like Maresca. That performance was not Maresca-esque at all. It was not a Maresca performance.
Nowhere near.
We had a lot of
Nowhere
bite.
near.
We had a lot of bite in that game,
I
and
know
that
what it
was
is.
a game of duels, and we competed for everything. It was not just a case of us dominating in the football sense, and I think that's what Rosenior brings. Is listen, we might not have all the possession, but I want you to compete for those balls, and I'm seeing that at the moment. I am seeing that based on at least that Palace game.
The ball's just going forward. Look at Joao Pedro's goal. Do you think under Maresca he'd allow Esteval just to take that clip ball into space over the back? The balls are just going in behind now.
Yes,
it's not
we've
like
done that
before
before.
where it wasn't like that before, wasn't it? Where the ball was just
We
going
score
in
goals like
behind.
that under Maresca. I don't like doing this where we're like, oh, that doesn't happen under Maresca. We scored plenty of goals or had chances like that under Maresca. Like, I don't know why we're trying to pretend that we didn't. That's why I don't think we're doing much different. I don't think much is different. It's just you've got a new manager come in who is more of a man manager. So he's obviously going to get the players onside easier in terms of like, he's going to massage egos or he's going to boost their confidence or whatever. And like, if he's going to do that, fair play to him. We saw like Poch do a similar thing. Obviously, tactically, he was so inept that it just fell apart anyway. But at least with Rosenior, he's got a little bit of tactical understanding about him. He's kind of just used the same things Maresca's done. It's just tweaked things here and there. Like, we still played as a right centre-back yesterday. Like, he still played as a right centre-back at times, and we still played a three at the back at times when Cucurella pushed up. We saw Gusto play in midfield and Hato play in midfield yesterday after subs were made. We're still seeing Enzo Fernandez used in the same way.
Yeah.
The subs were strange, but like they kind of made sense in at the end. Gittins on the right was a bit weird, but like, he's not doing too much different. And I just find the discourse around Rosenior on both ends so weird. Like, we're 5 games into his reign and people are trying to make like just blanket statements about his predecessor or him that I find extremely weird at this stage. Like, when we get to the end of the season and we've seen, what that be like 15 to 20 games at that point, we can kind of make more of a judgment. We've seen 5 games. We've been crap in 1, maybe 2. We've been good in 2, and then we've been like okay in 1. Like, it's kind of hard to judge a guy based on 5 games.
Yeah. Facts.
No, it is. I mean, my thing is March generally. I want to see where we are in March.
Yeah, cool.
And, that gives us a little bit more of an understanding. But I will. I know you're saying the similarities, Scott. I agree with you in this sense. But even James, like, for what he was doing, we saw more overlaps than we ever saw under Maresca. So that is a tweak right there. That that's pretty blatant. And in terms of like the man management side of things, you can say that we could have scored a similar goal under Maresca, but the counter argument to that is the players would have felt in a way like, let's just look more so at the Joao Pedro goal, because I think Esteval only had one option, which was to go for goal. Let's look at that goal. Joao Pedro has an opportunity to pass that ball, and I think under Maresca, all of the players thought, right, shit, I need to pass, and they lack that feeling of I'm going to win it. I'm going to be the guy who does it. And that's a product of what the manager wanted. He never wanted individuals to dominate his side. He wanted the goals to be spread out. He said it himself. He said, I don't want one player to score 30, 40 goals. I want everyone to score 5 or something like that, and that's fine. That's what you want. But ultimately, you are going to restrict the level of some players in terms of what they can achieve. Unlike, let's say, a Poch who lent on Palmer and wanted him to be the man. I mean, you can say what you want, but he allowed him to play in a certain way. And I think that Rosenior's sort of in the middle of the two, based on what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing a guy who's, he's trying to basically go off of what Maresca was doing anyway, because you can't change everything. But I've never understood this logic of trying to get the best out of a team when there are individuals who can score 20 or 30 goals. So that for me would be a priority, is to find someone who can be the match winner for me week in, week out, and hopefully get to the stage where you've got 2 or 3, and then you can obviously rotate.
I guess, but yeah, like I said, we've had plenty of counter attacks under Maresca that either finished with a goal or didn't, mostly because of individual mistakes. The one I think of immediately was the 2v1. I don't remember who it was against, when it's Garnacho and Neto. All Neto has to do is slip Garnacho in, and he just fucks the pass up. He just passes it straight to the defender when we're 2v1. That was a counter attack. That's a moment where obviously it's a little bit of a different position, but you got one option to pass, you got one option to make to go forward, and you mess the pass up. But that's a counter attacking goal we could have scored. Garnacho scored a goal earlier this season. Was it the one against? No, it wasn't the one against Wolves. It might have been his first goal for the club, but it's literally just a direct counter attack in behind.
Like, was that? Who did we play? Was it?
It wasn't Wolves.
Did he score against Liverpool?
He didn't score against Liverpool. Everyone said he had a good game against Liverpool, but I don't think he did. He didn't score. It was after that, because Wolves, I think, was his second goal. Who the hell was? Because I watched on the TV. I remember watching on the TV that goal, and Wolves I was at, so it definitely wasn't Wolves. What game was it? But yeah, whatever game it was, he scored that in transition, right? Like, we have scored plenty of goals in transition and had opportunities in transition under Maresca. This is why I don't like this. We might have the things I'll agree with, like, we went for less possession in this game, right? I think partly some of that was down to how high Palace was pushing us up the pitch. So, like, we went a little bit more route one because, like, the two chances we have in the first half, the goal and then the second one we have a Vesterval, Palace have no one defending past the, like, centre circle in terms of the edge of the centre circle in our half is where their defender is. So they're leaving acres of space for us to attack into because they're pressing that high for some weird reason. So it just made sense. And that's okay, I will agree in terms of we did go a bit more route one. But there are elements to Rosenior's game that he's copied from Maresca. Let's talk, because we're talking about this now, I'll talk about this. Let's talk about Robert Sanchez for a second. We saw against Arsenal, he tried to do something different. He tried to do what he was doing to an extent with Fernandez at Strasbourg, you know, play the goalkeeper slightly higher up, slightly outside the box, get him more involved in build-up, get him as like almost a fourth centre-back or second centre-back, wherever it is. It failed. He was terrible. His passing sucked. His decision-making was not good. He was obviously, like, I think, at fault for the goal, one of the goals. It was not a good performance. You know, that was back to the Robert Sanchez of old with the amount of mistakes he made in that game. So what did he do? He went back to what Maresca was doing. Robert Sanchez is now closer to goal. He's less involved in build-up. He'll obviously touch the ball quite a bit, but it's more simple passes out to Badiashile or out to one of the centre-backs. It's less trying to hoof it long into the channel, trying to play inside into the midfield, which he actually did a couple of times in the game yesterday. I remember one, I think, into Enzo or Caicedo, I think it was, that cut like 2 or 3 guys out. So he's copied what Maresca was doing in that sense, because he can't, with Sanchez, play the higher up the pitch, play outside the box, because he doesn't have the capabilities to do that. So he's copied that from Maresca, because that was one thing Maresca did well in terms of limiting Sanchez's mistakes. So for all the tweaks he's done, and there are tweaks, right? Like, I mean, we saw in the second half with the subs, we went back to the box midfield. We saw against Charlton. There are others as well, I think he's done. Like I said, the imbalance kind of the sides of the pitch. The left side obviously touched the ball way less, but for good reason. But then he's copying some bits of Maresca as well. So that's why I think a lot of what he does is similar, which makes sense in terms of what we hear from this ownership group is the reason we got Rosenior in at Strasbourg, and the reason we've done what we've done is to try and get teams and a pipeline that play the same brand of football. So it's easier to transition for players, and easier if you need to get managers across to transition for managers, and easier for players like the players we've got now. It's easier for them to play well instantly or to connect instantly because they're basically playing the same football with a few tweaks. So it makes sense. But that's why I say, like, people are trying to act, as much as there are people that are trying to like downplay Rosenior, not necessarily downplay, but like just crap on him every moment. There are people on the other side who are trying to act like he's reinvented the wheel here. He hasn't. He's taken what was a really good base from Maresca.
He's had 6 training sessions, mate, since he started.
He's taken a really good base from Maresca and tweaked it in elements. That's it.
What can any manager do with a team within 6 sessions?
I mean, you say that Tuchel in one training session to transform us defensively.
Yeah. But it's just copy and paste, isn't it? He's just basically keep it kind of the same. I feel like
that's what I'm saying, and done some tweaks.
Adjustments. Okay, you say to your wing backs, I don't want you inverted and covering the midfield spots. I want you now overlapping. I want my wings more inside. You know, just a few more adjustments and instructions that he's giving to the players to make it his own. I do feel like the ball is coming forward a bit more quicker. I do feel that. I thought the build-up on Maresca was a lot more slower than it is now. I thought that if there is an opportunity and there is a run behind, it's now going in, and this is why we're seeing more like opportunities. Took a couple opportunities yesterday. Pedro, Estavio's goal. The ball's just getting not hoofed in behind, but just put in a bit more quicker. That's just me saying that. When we went to the City game, when we had the other guy in charge, when Delap was making runs, when Delap was making runs, felt like the ball was getting put in a bit more quicker. I think Maresca a bit more calculated in and wait for more openings and stuff like that. But yeah, Rosen has had no input on this the way we play at the moment. But like Scott just said, slight adjustments, but yeah, these performances are not on him. You can't judge someone on 6 training sessions and how long has he been here? 3 weeks, 6 sessions in 3 weeks. Can't make any judgment on any manager.
2 points very quickly just before we potentially move on to Rosenior. Just on the inverting thing, he still inverts. It's just he's a lot more selective with it. Like, I don't remember what game it was. I think it was either Arsenal or Paphos.
It'd probably be Arsenal.
It might have been Arsenal or Paphos. Gusto was playing as the number 10 at times. Like, he still inverts. He's just way more selective with it. Because, like, for example, this game, the other thing I was going to say he did very well, and Maresca did this as well, but he didn't do this enough, is he tweaked the system to match what Palace were doing in terms of, obviously, we played the midfield 3. He had Caicedo basically man-marking Wharton and Enzo man-marking Lerma. So you had Santos was like the free guy, or he would potentially drop back to like help with the centre-backs or one of the 10s. But you didn't need to invert because you had the 2 central midfielders or 2 of the 3 central midfielders marking their 2 midfielders. So you would have just congested the space if you inverted, which was a nice change. And like I said, Maresca did that at times. We saw Liverpool with the Gusto midfield to kind of play on a weakness, but he didn't do that enough. Obviously, Rosenior, we will see, time will tell, but that was a nice change. But yeah, like I said, still inverts. It's just way more selective. So people saying he doesn't invert anymore. Yes, he does. It's just you won't see it like 90% of the time.
No, it's nowhere near as extreme. What about let's talk about the midfield then. Let's talk about Santos. Let's talk about Caicedo and Enzo as well. Who do you want to start on, Scott?
I want to talk about Santos. He was excellent. Like, outside of his passing, which I think probably the weakest part, needs a little bit of work, especially long passing. Outside of that, but that's one criticism I will have on Maresca, and it was always a problem with him in terms of a trust thing. Like, we saw it, if there were guys he didn't trust, it would take him so long to bring them into the team and then to play them regularly. We saw it with Josh, Santos, Hato. There were probably others from last season as well. Esteval. There were definitely others from last season I'm forgetting. I can't remember who. He was one, as an example. But yeah, like, I thought he was excellent defensively, very good. Connecting the ball from the defense to the midfield was excellent. And yeah, I hope he kicks on because I think he's going to become key in this midfield, especially if and when Palmer comes back this season and how we work around that, because I think there is conversations to be had when Palmer is back about who plays. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think you can play him, Enzo, and Esteval in the same team from a defensive standpoint, but that's potentially a conversation for another day. So yeah, I thought he was magnificent in the midfield. Like I said, needs to work on the passing a little bit, but that will come. He's a young player. It's fine. Caicedo, I thought, was very good. Obviously, a little bit rash before, like with the yellow cards. I haven't seen a replay outside the one they got. I think he steps on water, and it looked like on his toe.
It was definitely a yellow.
Yeah, so that's fine. After the yellow card, though, I think he had one other challenge where it was a bit reckless. And then after that, he was you know how it is with Caicedo. As soon as he gets a yellow, he seems to just turn up and seems to have a weird switch in his head of I just need to just tackle perfectly now. Yeah, he was excellent. The movement he did, by the way, the little flick with his right foot for the Wharton second yellow to stop Wharton getting that ball was magnificent.
He won that 100%. Obviously,
100%. And you could see it was Wharton was definitely the danger man for them in the game, and I thought he wasn't at his best, but his passing was still good. But yeah, I thought having Caicedo man mark him was great. I'll be honest, Enzo I didn't think did too much. Got the goal with the penalty, nice. Got his normal stat pad, fair play. I'm gonna be honest. Outside of that, I don't think he did much. To be honest, I don't think he wasn't a negative on the pitch in terms of I think the way Badiashile and Neto were. I just don't think he really had too much of an impact per se on the game. Not the same way like Caicedo and Santos did, or like Esteval did, or Joao Pedro did.
Enzo's never going to be the guy that.
Yeah,
He's just not that guy, isn't he? When you've got two players that want to do the hard work and the graft, and then
Kev, I don't like it when you say that. Enzo does try and
I think he does try and do that. He just doesn't have the. I think that's the thing. I think he tries to do that. He does try to cover the ground. He does try to make the tackles. I think his problem is that's the thing. I don't think it's an effort thing with him. I think it's a lack of.
It's not quick enough.
Ability is a weird word to use for that kind of thing, but lack of ability to cover that ground effectively, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think it's an effort thing. I think he tries.
He's a good runner. No, he puts a lot of miles in, but he's just not quick enough across the ground. That's it.
I respect Enzo's hustle. I really do. I said this after as well. I was like, it's one of those performances. Like, if I give it like a 7 out of 10, but it was like, if he hadn't have scored the goal, I would have probably said it was maybe a 6.5, if I'm being, 6. He doesn't. He's not doing anything bad, but there's nothing that I'm like, oh, that's great either. Wow. It is almost like you've got someone there that's. It sounds horrible to say it, but like kind of invisible. I don't really notice much of what's going on. There's no challenges or duels or fantastic passes. He didn't have a shot. So I'm just thinking to myself, what did we get from Enzo in that match? I'm trying to be objective here.
No, I agree. And I think the one I said this on another stream. I might have been Lewis's stream, another stream I was on. I think the problem with the game yesterday with Enzo is if I'm just comparing him with Santos, and this isn't meant to be a slight on Santos, I think he's a very good player, but I'm comparing the two, right? I'm comparing £100 million or £105 million World Cup winning midfielder with Andre Santos, who's played at Vasco da Gama and Strasbourg and cost 10 mil, I think. Let me have a look.
14 million.
14 million. Cool. So we're talking like a fifth of the price nearly, or like a ninth of the price. Not a fifth, like a ninth or a tenth of the price, excuse me. Can you really tell me outside of the long passing, which Enzo has, which Santos doesn't have, but he has the defensive capabilities and the running with the ball? So it's a coin toss in terms of that. What they really do in terms of like their impact on the game. Like if you watch the game yesterday, Santos had more of an impact on our team than Enzo did. And it's like, if Enzo cost us 40 mil, like if Enzo was like Dewsbury Hall, right? Cost us 30 mil, maybe 40 mil, was getting us some goals, I don't think we're having this conversation.
Great signing for that price. Great signing.
And it was a guy that was like maybe on the bench sometimes, could get like, he played 80% of the games, but sometimes hold the bench, sometimes not. Cool. He's playing 90% of the games, especially in the league. He's playing basically 100% of the games that he's fit for.
Yep.
He's a £105 million midfielder. Like, I just expect more. And yeah, like I think it's just one of those things of.
Do you think that's down to the position he was in yesterday? Because obviously we played. I think it was Santos was more like the DM yesterday.
Yeah,
Caicedo was more like the ball pressing midfielder, and Enzo was picking up pockets. Let's say a bit further at the pitch. So do you feel like that was because Enzo was further at the pitch that he wasn't seeing much of the ball and not actively involved in the build of play? Because I thought that was probably the case yesterday, rather than I think Enzo more in the pivot when he receiving the ball from the defenders. He'll be a lot more on the ball. But I think that was Santos' job, and I feel like that's the way Rosenior's using him now. Same as at Strasbourg, he didn't have two pivots. At Strasbourg, he only had one, and Santos was always the one on the half turn receiving the ball from the defenders. So I feel like that's one of the main reasons why Enzo wasn't picking up as much and seeing as more as the ball than Santos was yesterday. That's what I feel like anyway.
Potentially, but I do think my counterpoint would be I don't like this player in terms of the way he plays. I look at like what Bruno Fernandez does for United in terms of, even though he does some stupid stuff, like the hero ball, where he tries a ball 50 times and it comes off twice, is irritating. And I don't want Enzo to do that. But what I like about what Bruno does is he's always demanding the ball. Wherever he is, he always wants that football. And so, like, that's the one element of Enzo's game of, like, I would like that he does that more. And it's not necessarily, like, because he wants the ball in areas of, like, where he's close to our goal. and he picks it up deep, or he picks like on the left-hand side or whatever, that's cool. I want you demanding the ball in attacking areas if you're going to play this third midfielder, the slightly advanced midfielder. And I also think part of this conversation as well comes down to a point I made earlier. Defensively, from a defensive standpoint, I don't think there is a world currently where we can play Palmer, Enzo, and Esteval in the same team at the same time. Not unless you're going to play a team that literally will not leave their box. Like you're playing full-on Sam Allardyce, Sean Dyche football. Because then maybe you can allow it if you have like Santos and Caicedo in midfield and you put Esteval on the left, Palmer on the right, right? But outside of that, I do not think you can play those three in midfield consistently. So I'm looking at it and going, of those three, who would I more like to play? I want if on current form, I'd say as well, I want Esteval to play on current form. I think we've already talked as a winger. He is our most electrifying winger. He's our best winger.
Yeah, 100%.
As poor form as he is in prior to the injuries, when fit, we know what Palmer can deliver in terms of performances, in terms of bringing guys into the game, and in terms of goals and assists output. That leaves Enzo as the odd one out. What then doesn't help Enzo's position, potentially, is if Santos is going to keep performing like he did yesterday and allowing Caicedo to drift a bit more and kind of do almost a Kante role of like just being able to cover ground and hunt things. And we know he can play the ball forward and stuff like that. And I think Santos is more defensively aware and in that sense than Enzo. Obviously, Enzo's going to play a lot of games, but I'm saying from a point of view of going forward, that is a conversation that's going to need to be had because it will probably end up being Esteval that's dropped in that position. But if Esteval keeps performing how he is and Santos keeps performing how he is, that's then a conversation of one of Palmer or Enzo may have to be dropped. And if you're dropping Enzo, I'm going to be honest, it makes no sense to have a £105 million midfielder on the bench. Personally, when you have other holes in your team. So that's just a conversation I think that may end up needing to be had down the line.
Do you think that Santos was our best midfielder?
Yes, 100%. And I don't think it was close.
All right. We're in agreement then. Yeah, I thought he was great just on the ball. Like, I agree with you. The long passes didn't necessarily look like he was already. Yeah, there's one ball I think Cucurella was in the wrong position. I thought, okay, but I never thought he's done it again. You know that feeling. You probably have that with Neto and Garnacho all the time. That I never had that feeling with Santos, and I feel like, another thing in close proximity with other players, the ability to just lay a ball off or short pass, make a move, receive the ball, give it and go. I don't know. It looks effortless. He is the closest thing that we've had since Jorginho. He is the closest thing that we've had to that caliber, that style of play. Better at carrying the ball, little bit more. I don't know what the word is. A little bit more attractive to watch, I would say, but still very pragmatic. And I just know what I'm going to get. I feel very stable. It's like when were you at the Burnley game, Kev?
No, my dad went there anymore.
I was with your dad then. Yeah,
he was excellent that game as well.
But like he just controls it. He puts you in a position where you're like, yeah, that's what I want in my midfield now, especially if I'm winning a game. This is, we're not going to make any stupid mistakes. I mean, I'm a fan of James in the midfield. I am a fan. I think that when you're missing the bite that Caicedo gives you, James offers that bite. But then seeing Santos in there, hey, we've got some options. But again,
a sole goal, and Lavia to come back as well.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Both of them are write-offs, bro. Just honestly, they're.
What's wrong with Saga? What happened to him?
He slipped in training and hurt himself again, bro.
Has he?
I'm not even joking. That was reported. He slipped in. I think Rosenior said he slipped in training and injured himself.
He slipped on grass, Kev. He didn't slip on concrete unless they're training on concrete. Can you imagine that? You fell on the grass pitch. It was probably wet. It was probably soft. And you still got injured.
This is, again, probably a conversation, like a bigger conversation for another day. But all of these injury-prone guys, like both of them, Anselmino that's come back, Fofana, Badiashile, these guys need to leave the club. Go away.
So Anselmino, I'm yet to see him. What's wrong with him?
He has missed more games than he's played in his career through injury.
Who? Sorry,
Antonio. He's
Um,
had
he's had a good
4
season.
or 5
No,
He played 6 games.
fucking hell.
He had a hamstring injury, which he just came back from. I think he was on the bench against Tottenham.
He was doing, and he was starting for them though. He was very popular. I remember. And then
I think the most games he's completed in a league season was 12, which was 23-24. He's played 43 games in his career. He's missed 56 for injury. He's had 4 hamstring injuries in his career. He's 20.
Well, let's.
He's cooked. He is cooked.
How much did we pay for him?
Oh, 18? Like nothing. Literally, like nothing. I don't think it was all that much, to be honest. Like that's not what worries me. Like, especially with how much Dortmund wanted him. Like, they really liked him. He just basically never played. 15 million is how much we paid. Like, we can easily make our money back and more so.
Well, yeah. We'll I don't know. I mean, I think Anselmi is a good player from what I've seen, but obviously, based on what I'm going through for Fana and Lavia and all these players, I mean, the last thing we need is another injury-prone player. Thing is, as well, it's so typical, isn't it, that the club that take injuries more seriously than any other, in terms of our rotation policy, we literally have some of the most injury-prone players as well. Like, if I'm looking at our starting 11, there's only one really, which is Pedro Neto. He's actually been really good for us, but he's always been quite injury prone. And then you've got
Noni was
Fana. It was actually not too bad. Oh, actually, against Palace, it wasn't too bad for Fana. And then the Lap has had a few injuries, but it's not been that bad. You know what? Maybe I'm over exaggerating. Although I say that, I'm looking in the starting 11. And the match day squad for the injury prone players are obviously not available. So that's a bit of a stupid thing to do.
I'll say we've got quite a few. We've had quite a few. Like Noni was injury prone before he got here. We actually managed to. He had one injury, I think, which was that Brighton, that 3-0 loss or 3-1, whatever it was. Neto, Lavia, but again, he wasn't injury prone until we got here. Fofana, Badiashile was. I think
was it injury prone before you got here?
No, he had one injury.
Neto was very.
Yeah, Neto was bad. Lavia had one injury the summer that Southampton bought him. I think he missed 1 month of football. He then played every single league game from then till the end of the season. He was a bit unfit, I think, when he arrived at pre-season training, because I think their first game in the Championship, he was on the bench because I watched that game. He then joined us and got injured in his first training session, and then was out completely until that Palace game.
Southampton played a pre-season friendly against Reading, and I was at that game just before he signed. And I'm pretty sure Lavia played. If I'm not wrong.
I think he just wasn't entirely fit.
I'm not sure, but I remember that one.
I don't know what the hell's going on with Lavia, man. 100%. Like Scott said, man, I think that his time's done. 3 years, not one 90-minute match in him. That goes to show that he is far.
I think there was a stat. Who was the player? There was a player. Was it Fofana? No, there was. I can't remember who it was. There was a stat that came out that there's a player in the current squad that was signed within the last year or two that has completed the same amount of minutes or same amount of games as Lavia has. I cannot remember who it was off the top of my head.
I'm not sure. Well, let's finish off on Joao Pedro. I mean, I'll give Sanchez credit as well. I feel like we haven't spoken about him, but
yeah, he was excellent.
We've touched on Sanchez actually. We've touched on him. Joao Pedro, I'm not a fan, but I was a fan yesterday. He still, to be honest with you, doesn't really. I don't fully understand when they say, "What do you get from Joao Pedro? What does he give you?" I'm not really entirely sure I could answer that question in a convincing way. Whereas the Lap, I could give you a pretty obvious answer. But Joao Pedro, at times, he's an aerial threat. Other times, he drops deep. He can link up, but I don't see him as a particularly creative player. But he seems to pop up, in moments. And he had 2 great chances. Should have really got 2 goals, if we're honest, but can't change the handball. I mean, that was just that was unfortunate from his perspective. But a goal and assist, if you include the penalty as well. What's your take on it?
I think we're past the point with Joao Pedro where we're going to get what we saw on a regular basis in the Club World Cup, or we're going to get what maybe some of us thought of him as a player. I still don't know whether he's an improvement on Jackson. let me repeat that. Let me rephrase that. Enough of an improvement on Jackson to like a noticeable difference. Like it might be a slight improvement. Like it's like going from like a
finisher, I think.
Yeah, okay. Like he's a more clinical finisher. He just does not take shots enough, I think is his issue. But it's like going from like a 6.5 to a 7. Like it's a minor improvement. I wanted to go from a 6.5 to an 8, really. But I don't think we're going to get that. At the very least, I don't think the outside of the scoring, the other elements of Jackson's game as much we're seeing at the moment. At least he's doing that. The connecting, dropping deep, link up play, all of that. If at the very least, we have got, 15 games left? I think, in the league.
Roughly. 15.
I think that was match day 23, so we've got 15 games left. 6 goals. That's all you need to match Jackson's total from his first season. That's the bare minimum I'm expecting at this point. If you get that, I'm not celebrating anything because I wanted 18 at the start of the season.
Yeah.
That is acceptable. That is not even acceptable. That's the bare minimum.
How many goals? How many?
Yeah.
6. He needs 6 more goals to match Jackson's total from his first season of 14.
15.
No, 14.
First season was 15, no?
No, it was 14. It was in the league, it was 14.
What was it last season? 12?
It was 10 last season.
We was dissing a striker that scored 14 goals for us. That's not bad at all.
I was going to say, he and do you know what's Joe? I think Alex, 8 or 9 of those were in the first half of the season. I think it was 8 of those were in the first half of the season.
Well, he had a great start. That's why I kept my mouth shut about Joao Pedro.
But that's also why I'm not like, again, it's with the Joao Pedros. I'm trying to stay in the middle. I'm not trying to go too much of like, even though I don't rate him that highly, I'm not trying to say he's fully shit, but I'm not trying to say he's like, all of a sudden him getting this goal, and I think he got one a few weeks ago. I'm trying to say that he's improved or he's like this changed man, because Jackson had 8 goals, I think, by the halfway point of last season, and then nothing. You know, Jackson had the 14 goals in his first season. You know, he has to get just under 1 every 3 games, pretty much between now and the end of the season.
It's very doable.
It's doable, but you have to continue that to just match Jackson's goal tally. You know, and like I said, I thought we'd get an improvement. But yeah, just continue what you're doing in terms of the output. And at the end of the day, as a striker, like, I can't really clown on you if you do that. Just continue with the output at the very least. But I was very impressed with his performance, I will say, against Palace.
I mean, the next month is looking very good. If Joao Pedro is featuring West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley in the Prem.
Yeah.
And then obviously
I'll say these are the games to do it, because after these next 5 games, bro, the last 10 games to end the season, outside of 2, sorry, is a tough run.
Got United, City,
we have every
Liverpool.
team above. Well, it was at one point every team above us. We have Liverpool, United,
Villa,
City,
Newcastle.
Villa, Newcastle, Spurs, Forest, Brighton. I've forgotten the other 2. Shit.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the other 2. And 2 others.
Basically, every big team we've got.
Yes, it was at one point every team that was above us, and then Forest and Brighton. But obviously, we've now gone up, so I can't remember who it is we're facing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. I can't complain if he starts against Napoli. That being said, I love the lap. I am a fan. I'm a big fan, but I'm also, you know, I'm okay with players competing for a starting spot and actually having genuine competition. I remember at the beginning of last season when Nkunku was popping up and Jackson was popping up, I was like, this is going to be good. Never turned out that way, but you know, it's nice to think, right, it's not a case of he's starting because he sucks. It's actually because he's earned the opportunity to play, and you know, I want to see more of that. I feel like Liam Rosenior as well. Like, I get the impression that he will play players on that basis, especially as a man manager, as you were saying, Scott. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? So if you've got a player like, well, I mean, it happened with Garnacho, didn't he? He scored against Arsenal and then he started against Paphos. So, you know, that's the thing, though. Yeah, it's fine if you get subbed because you were shy. That's different. But I mean, he got the opportunity and he started the game. So you can't, as a player, you can't complain because you were given the opportunity based on your performance. And yeah, I think that's a nice thing to do as a manager. It's pretty simple, but we don't really see enough of it these days. I feel like everything's always on technicalities and tactical tweaks, and sometimes you just need to look at a player on an emotional level and go, listen, you've earned this opportunity, and I'm going to give you it. I'm going to give you that. And they're either going to take it in their stride or they're not. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I see a comment from Hugh as well saying Alex wearing the English tinted glasses. Delap is awful. Delap has been pretty good since Maresca's got sacked. So I'm not really sure where the awfulness comes in. I mean, against City he was fantastic when he came on, and against Fulham he was one of our best players. So I'm not really sure what we're talking about when we say he's been awful. He's obviously had injuries, and it's been it's not been easy in that sense. But no, I mean, you want to compare to Delap to Joao Pedro. I'm looking at a £30 million man and a £60 million man. I expect twice as much from Joao Pedro because he cost twice as much, and also he was more experienced when we signed him. So for me, like, if anyone deserves a harsher treatment, it is Joao Pedro. But I would like to see more from Delap. That's not saying that I think he's hit his potential. He could certainly still do better. But no, I'm a big fan. Why are people not allowed to be fans? Is that not allowed these days? Is that an issue? Is that a problem? Am I supposed to just be objective with everything? Did I not do? Why do you support Chelsea? Are you not fans of Drogba and Hazard? Certainly not making that comparison, but you're fans. You enjoy what you saw, right? Maybe you don't enjoy it as much these days, but I like players like Delap. Like when he gets the ball, it's the same as Esteval. I also think Mudryk is one of those players for some reason.
Really?
As well.
Sorry?
No, but you don't like when.
Sorry.
When
No, wait, hold on.
I've heard that right.
Yeah, let's rewind that a second. Say that again.
Say which bit?
What?
Esteval and Delap bit again, please. Say that again.
Like in the sense that when Delap gets the ball or when Esteval gets the ball, I'd say the same about a player like Mudryk. I have this feeling like I'm really interested to see what they're going to do. When a player like Garnacho gets the ball or Gittins, I'm like, fucking hell, here we go.
Alex,
it's not in the sense of dribbling, Scott. Don't look at it like that. That's not how I mean it. My point is, I'm excited when they get the ball. That's my point. I'm excited. I enjoy watching.
I'm excited when Delap gets that ball.
Yeah, I can't say I'm excited. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't.
Jumping into players and making himself.
Yes, I like this comment. That's a good comment. That's a good one. I'm excited to watch him chase his first touch. That's nice. Hey, listen, guys, I'm a fan. What do you want me to say? I like the guy. I'm not going to say I hate someone when I don't. I like him. That doesn't mean that he's the best player of all time, but no, I'm a fan of him. I mean, you know, when we were at the City game, like, and I don't know who he pushed over. It was either Ruben Diaz or it was another player.
Oh, it was that Kush. That's the K.
Starts with Kusanov, right? He pushed Kusanov.
Yeah, Kusanov. That was it. Yeah.
I was like, fucking get in there. Like, as a match going fan, mate, Delap for me. Oh, love it. Maybe I wouldn't appreciate as much if I was watching on my sofa. I'd just be like, you fucking idiot, you just got booked. But for me, when I'm in that stadium, I'm like, if he's not got a red, if he's not getting a red, I fucking love it. Absolutely love it. This whole thing about, oh, we can't get yellow cards, don't get a yellow card. I couldn't care less about a yellow card. Get a yellow card every week if it means I get to watch that. Honestly, because I just want a bit of just get into them. Get into Kev. You're agreeing with me on that. You like Chris Wood, mate. So that's what you want to see from your strikers. You want to see strikers go and have a bit of physicality.
Yeah,
I enjoy watching it. Delap plays like he's allergic to the ball. Fucking hell. That's very harsh, guys. That's really harsh. Delap is an AliExpress Diego Costa.
Yeah, just nah.
What's with the Delap? Hey, fucking hell.
He's got a lot to prove, in him, brother. That's what it is.
Yeah,
he's got to prove it, but I'm just a fan of the guy. I don't know what you say. Chris Wood knows where the net is. There you go. He's got what,
5 months to prove something. Otherwise, it's looking long.
Well, he has been injured. So, I think an injury is always going to set back your season. But no, we need to see more. For me, we'll see what happens. If we're at this stage next season, then that's a different conversation. But right now, as it stands, I'm a fan. Right. Smash the like button if you haven't already, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Also, I'll tell you what, Kev, you might like this one. I don't know if you're into your football shirts, Scott, but OK Jersey cfctvyt.com. There is a link in the description. There's also a QR code on screen if you want to scan it. I don't even know if it works. Let me know. Try and scan it and let me know if it doesn't work, because then I'll change it. But yeah, you can use the code CFTV for 8% off everything on okjersey.com. And it's just cheap as hell, guys. It's so cheap. I think you can get shirts for like 10, 15 quid or something like that. So I'm gonna get a couple myself. Do you buy the fake shirts, boys, or are you into your? Would you rather spend the money on like an official one?
Well, those ones up there, they're just good copies, but
They're fakes. How much do you spend on them?
These expensive though. They are. They're expensive. That 40, but that Hasselback one was like 45, and that Good Johnson one was 50 something quid.
Yeah, like I'll try and get replicas, like a kind of the way I'll go minimum. If I can get like the full proper ones, I will. But like most ones people see me wear on here, like the Valencia one I was wearing at one time, the South Korea one I've worn, the Juventus third kit I wore, like yeah, they're all replicas, like anywhere from like 40 to 60 quid.
Fucking hell, boys.
I ain't gonna lie, I had my pants
That's a lot.
down start of the season, man. I spent £135 on that shirt.
What?
Club badge. 135 quid on the Chelsea top.
Nah, man.
My son's was 8. He paid £160 for
If you could have bought like 7 shirts on okjerseys.com, what are you doing?
Quid for my shirt, £160 for Dion's kit.
Get straight on that website after this stream, Kev. Straight on that website. Stockpile for next Christmas, mate. Get them a home kit, an away kit. Get them the retro, the white one, the Fly Emirates, the whole lot.
We'll see.
I'm closing you on stream, Kev.
Why is they got the old school ones? Yeah.
Yeah, they got all the old ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a look in a minute.
If you use the code, then you'll get it cheaper as well. If you don't use the code, then I get no fucking credit. So use the code, please.
I'm gonna have a quick look after, mate. See what's on there.
Anyway, appreciate you coming on, boys. Alex saving his money to wine and dine Rachel. It's not cheap, boys. It's not cheap. If you know, you know. So listen, all the best, guys. We will catch up very soon. Appreciate you coming on as always. Big up to you, Scott. Big up to you, Kev. I'll put you on the spot as well, actually, now that we're live, because I always forget. Are you around? You around for the next one after Napoli?
I should be. Yeah, I should be free.
I'll let you know post today, bro.
What are you working? Are you doing what are you working on Thursday, Scott?
I'm doing a morning shift, so it's fine.
The live's the Lumber. Cancel the show.
No, I know the live's on. I just thought I'll ask you on stream. Why not?
All right,
I'll
cool.
put you on the spot. So if you bail on me, everyone can call you out.
Yeah, I'll let you know. So I've been non-committal.
There you go. All right, big up to everyone. Smash the like button, subscribe, and we will catch up very soon. And check out okjersey.com.